We did a lot of time reviewing the annual conference budget, which of course is in a big crunch. It's painful to see what things have to be cut out, but I think they kept the core programs and the right stuff. So the budget was held at the 2008 level. What we learned there was that the average Methodist gives 2% of their income to the church. The conference committee on budget said that if we increased our giving by 1%, all the budget problems would disappear. They divided us all up into committees to work on petitions to the conference. And these are things that we want to see changed in the conference rules as to how, mostly how churches are handled with their pastoral relationships and also financial and so forth. The other area we worked on were amendments to the Book of Discipline. Dave got a lot of good pictures. He's posted a lot of really great information on the blog, on the Some Church blog. I wanted to thank all of you again for letting me attend and represent you at annual conference.
And we have a thank you for you. Yeah. Thank you for coming and participating and being a leader in this conference. Pastor gave a parishioner a Christmas basket, and the parishioner says, "Oh, you shouldn't have." He says, "Oh, I'm giving the basket to everybody who's poor." He says, "Well, I'm not poor." He says, "Well, I took your tithe for the year, multiplied times 10, and you fell into the poverty category." Anyway, something happened on the way. I was touched by a different idea. The annual conference was full of excitement about some new ideas on how to reach out. How many of you have been part of a church every single day you can remember? A few? Yes. How do we speak then to a whole generation that doesn't know from church? I'm talking about the ones who are like 20, 30-year-olds right now, maybe even 40-year-olds. Their parents were the boomers, my age, and a vast majority of my age were taken to Sunday school by their parents, dropped off while Dad went and got a paper and took it home and read the paper, and then came back for the kid before worship. And as soon as they turned maybe 14, 15, or maybe they joined the church, and then they were adults and didn't have to go anymore, you know, and they don't go, and they didn't take their kids. How do we reach a whole new world? Well, we've got some ideas now. We've got some vision now. We've spent 8 years advertising to the world that we are the people of the United Methodist Church. And that's important. We're not the denomination. We are the people. And we are the church that has open hearts, open minds, and open doors. For 8 years we've been advertising that on cable channels, and people are starting to pick up on that. In a recent survey, people have a very positive impression of the people of the United Methodist Church. So at the last General Conference, they have added 3 simple words to our motto, to our ad slogan. Together we can open hearts, open minds, open doors. And open suddenly becomes not an adjective talking about us. It becomes an active verb about what we're doing. Together we can open doors. We can open 10,000 doors. I'm not talking about the one in the front of the church. We have to go where people are needing help, where lives need to be changed, where the world needs to be transformed. The mission statement of the United Methodist Church was changed at the General Conference in 2008. It used to be making disciples of Jesus Christ. Back last April, a year ago April, they added a few words to the end. To transform the world. See, just making disciples isn't enough. We are the United Methodist people of the United Methodist Church, and we are here to change the world. To transform the world, we are the ones who are making disciples of Jesus Christ. And let me tell you how it works. One church in a larger metropolitan area decided to have a bike-a-thon raising money for a homeless shelter downtown. they put up advertising in the bike shops and coffee shops and various other places around town. This one lady came and she saw the thing. She thought it would be great to help the homeless. I can do this. She went out and she got her donors and her supporters, her pledges, and she went on the bike-a-thon and she wrote it. And when she was done, she had brought in $2,000 and she was the winner. She had brought in the most money. She had never been to church except for weddings and funerals in her life. She had no idea what church was about. But now she had ridden in this bike-a-thon to change lives, to help people, to transform the world. And they invited her to come to the worship service at the church to honor her and for her to turn over the check to the church for the shelter. And she was accepted. And she discovered that she belonged here. And she became part of the community. ABC. Do you hear it? Accept, belong, community. You know, I've been thinking about this. Is going to Jarius' house to take care of Jarius' daughter, that was going to a well-financed person's house, a wealthy man's house. He was a ruler. He was one of the upstanding citizens. He's one of the ones, if Jesus got him on his side, he'd have a good, solid donor, you know, keep the movement alive. But he got interrupted. He got interrupted by a woman who needed him. And she reached out and touched just the hem of his cloak. And all of a sudden everything stopped. Everything stopped because Jesus said, someone touched me. And I see here his disciples said, hey dude, everybody touched you. And he looked around and there she was. And she knew she wasn't supposed to touch him. She had this flow of blood, this hemorrhage. And in the Jewish law, that made her unclean. Anybody she touched became unclean. She made Jesus unclean, but he had felt the power go out of him to her, and she'd felt the power come out of him into her, and she was healed. Most importantly, he accepted her. We get too busy trying to find people like ourselves who need just a little nudge to join our church. We need people who need to discover their own faith can make them well. That they can transform the world, transform their own lives through the power of being disciples of Jesus Christ. Jesus, name, my God.